Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Sir Drinks a Lot, and we're going to talk about the perception of perception. See, here's the thing. Say you go on Facebook and you say, man, I get that. We got a guy on the marketplace. He's going to sell his big screen TV. Comes with a remote, and I'm gonna go by there and I'm gonna go get that TV. And you talk to the person on the phone. Your uncle talks to the person on the phone, and you're thinking that for some reason your uncle's paid for it, and maybe we'll just go with that. Like, you're thinking everything's paid for. And you go over there and pick it up, and they say, hey, nobody's paid me for anything yet. So you're standing around there, and they're trying to reach somebody. They're doing something. You go ahead and try to call your uncle or whoever, and you can't get a hold of anybody. And you just take that TV and the controller, you leave. That's theft. And it's straight up theft. I mean, I don't see how it could not be considered as theft. Now, something happens and the person comes back and says, hey, TV didn't work, or the remote didn't work with bad batteries or whatever, or something. And they come back and complain about it. And you're just like, hey, you didn't pay for the remote and the TV. You owe me for the TV and anything. And they're like, it didn't work. I don't owe you anything because it didn't work. The what now? Now the person has the TV and has a remote with them right now. Drops it off and says, hey, you got, your TV's not working, or the remote's not working, or whatever. And you tell them, it's like, hey, you left without paying. You stole. I called the cops, and they're looking for you. I mean, just saying, what you did was wrong. And the person literally looks at you like, man, you're trying to scam people, selling people stuff that doesn't work. There was no sale. But literally this person is like, you're trying to scam me because this didn't work in the first place. You're trying to sell stuff that doesn't work. And it's like, how can it be? Literally, the person is like, man, y'all just trying to scam people. It's like, scam how? You didn't pay. We didn't get anything. I mean, how are you going to, literally, how are you going to say we're scamming? That would mean we get something and you don't get anything. You literally took something that didn't work, at least for you. There could be plenty of reasons. You could try to plug it into an outlet that didn't work. Batteries in the remote just might be dead, or there might not be any batteries in the remote. Guess what? Get some batteries. I mean, it's kind of petty to not give batteries in a remote when you're selling a remote and TV. But I mean, hey, it happens. But yeah, it's just like, do you seriously? You don't get that you stole. Yeah, whatever. Like right now, what do I have to do? I don't know that this TV works. If I pay you for this and I go and I check it and it doesn't work, I don't know. I just don't. And totally the mentality of I did nothing wrong because it doesn't work. And you're like, that person's like, oh, I didn't even take it. Yes, you're the one that took it. No, nobody else paid. These items that left the building, left the house or whatever. And this person is straight up sitting, looking at you like you're the bad guy. What? I mean, okay, here's the thing. Let me try to rephrase this. Try to put this into perspective in another way. I this mostly I'm a locksmith, and we had a customer who called in who From what I understand of the story that was told to me, he had some car issues. They said, well, your issues is, well, your key doesn't, you don't have a key. I don't know specifically where the key issue was, but somebody said, hey, you need to get a key, you need a key code from the dealer. Go to the dealer, get a key code, take it down to the lock shop, and then they'll cut you some keys. And they went to the dealer, and you have to pay the dealer a certain amount of money to get that code. Okay, bring the code, bring it to me, we'll cut keys. We do that. So they did. They brought the code. We cut keys, and then they were like, yeah, it's going to be charged to the dealership. No, dealership doesn't usually do that. And so they started calling people. We started calling people just to make sure, And while we were calling people, and I guess we were really busy, one guy kind of gets up, stretches, starts walking towards the door, kind of standing in the doorway, and the other guy kind of looks both ways, walks up to the counter, grabs the keys, and walks out. Really? Unnecessary. That's unnecessary. And literally, when your lane goes into my lane, I just... Whatever. I fucking hate people. Anyway, so they come in to get a key code because they lost keys to their vehicle. And they were told to get key code, anyway. So they cut keys. We cut keys, and they picked them up. They took them. They snagged them off the counter and left. Didn't pay. There was no payment for the items that left the building. Now, they called back either late that night, or early the next morning, and said, "Hey, my keys don't work. If I come by, what can we do about that?" And what we normally tell people in that situation is like, we'll try again. We'll look at the key code. We'll look at the VIN number, see if there was an issue. But we also said, it's like, hey, one, the code for keys are supposed to work. Yeah, no problem. But also, we've told the cops, we called the cops in. We have video of you guys. They have the video now too. I mean, it's literally theft. Now, whether it's like a mistake, or maybe you guys tried to reach somebody and one of you is just sure that so-and-so said that they paid for it, this is taking too long, it's paid. We'll go. No, it wasn't paid. There was no pay. But I can understand if you thought it was, and you were just like, man, I'm gonna go. It's paid for. It's done. I don't know what this business problem is. Blah blah blah. I get that. I do get that. But you don't take stuff that you haven't okayed with a person. It's not yours. It was produced by us for you. It does not make it yours until a transaction is done. And also, like I said, you should get a receipt. If you pick up something from someplace else, even if it's charged to somebody else, they should have a receipt for you. Anyway, guy comes back the next day, and the boss is saying, it's like, hey, you gotta, that's theft. What you guys did was, he's like, how can it be theft? He doesn't even work. The keys didn't even work. And then he was like, y'all just trying to scam people. And it's like, literally, trying to scam somebody, we'd have gotten money. We never got paid. We made keys by a code, which, by the way, key codes are good 80 to 95% accurate. You don't know who previously had your vehicle, rekeyed it. If you just bought the vehicle, you haven't tried the factory keys. You might not have had any keys with the vehicle. That's somebody else's fault that they lost the keys. But if we make the keys by code, they don't work. Maybe somebody only used the remote on the door. And that's the reason why it doesn't work the door, because you have wafers that haven't basically moved in years because nobody stuck a key in it. And there's, you got some stuck wafers, or there's a possibility the key code is wrong. There's a possibility we cut the key wrong. There's definitely a possibility, and we will definitely try to recut the key. I'm not going to lie. we're gonna go about our job and try to do the best we can. Cut the new key. Cut a new key, try it and see if it works. And we're gonna do our best. But if the key code's wrong or something's different about the vehicle, somebody's changed it, that's not our fault, and we're gonna charge you for our labor and our parts. Now, in the cases where that has happened, no, you don't get your money back. But we know that something has happened. We'll come out, pull the ignition, check it, see what the difference is. If it's a damaged wafer, we fix it, we put it back, and we try to put everything back to factory. And he didn't like that. Because he would have to pay more, which he didn't even pay any to begin with. He was like, so if I take this out there and it still doesn't work, am I going to get my money back? And it's like, you haven't given any money. You haven't paid. He's like, yeah, but y'all don't try cutting keys, and this keys didn't work. It doesn't fucking matter. Like I said, the key codes are a possibility. Now, a lot of times when we come out and we make a key for somebody after we try to do a key code situation like that, one, you're still going to be able to use your key. We're going to make your key work that was cut by factory. Unless it's just like something's weird and like there's a key code on the new ignition that we pull out and that works the ignition and door, then we're going to cut another chip key, and we're probably not going to charge you for the second chip key. We'll help you out, but it is going to be a lot more expensive making it that way than trying to do it by key code. Key codes are cheap, and if you're out some money, you're out not as much as it would be if we'd had to come out and make keys for the vehicle. So we try to do that first. And like I said, we'll incorporate some of that cost back into the job we're doing if we can. That's just what we try to do that. And literally the guy was like, well, I'm not going to take them. So my boss had cut the second key, and the guy still didn't want it. So we're now out 2 keys, and yeah. And the guy's running around acting like it's our fault. I was like, dude, we didn't lose your keys. We didn't take keys without paying for them. And like I said, and the thing is, we were, like I said, my boss was a bit pushy on the fact, he's like, no, like even at some point, he was like talking to somebody on the phone, said like, they just try to act like I'm always stealing stuff. It's like, dude, you took something without paying for it. It's theft. That's what it is. Like I said, if you didn't know, whatever, that's fine. There's stuff we worked out, but that is literally textbook definition. Something doesn't belong to you that you did not pay for. Like I said, if you thought you had paid for it, or your uncle paid for it, your cousin paid for it, somebody paid for it, you were just coming to pick it up, fine. But you were told that it wasn't paid for. You were informed. This is not paid for. What did you do? You yoinked it right up. That's why you were sitting around, piddling around, trying to get on your phone talking to people, because guess what? They said you hadn't paid. You knew that. But you felt you did, so you took it. That's theft. And he did not want to hear that he stole. He did not want to hear that. And he tried to, whoever he was talking to on the phone, he was just calling us out, saying we were scammers and stuff. And I'm just sort of like, why do you even? It's so frustrating. And finally, he just left after, like I said, we had cut 2 keys already. Now, I did look at the second key that my boss cut, and I'm just like, I don't like it. I don't think it's as good. I wasn't there for the first time cutting either, so I don't know. I in my head, I'm like, I want to take care of a customer, get them all done. So my brain just kind of starts thinking of what we could do better. But it's just like, no, this guy literally, like I've had kids where they've done something wrong, and they're like, no, I didn't do anything wrong, no, or try to blame it on somebody else. And it's like, you're literally in your mid-20s, and you took something without paying. And it's like, your complaint is it didn't work. You don't get to complain. You do not get to complain. You did not pay for the stuff. And like I said, if you had paid for the stuff, we'd be doing the same thing. We would have cut another key, tried a different machine, seen if it worked. And if that didn't work, then, like I said, we would have tried other options. We would have still kept going until you got you a working key. Now, if it required a bit more work, still would have done that. Might have been a bit more expensive. Still would have done that. We want to make you a key. But it's a process. You fucked up the process by stealing the keys without paying for them. That's just it. Anyway, and I said, it's just the fucking audacity to sit there and be all like, "No, you up here trying to scam people." And the thing is that I have had it happen before, where somebody has come through and we've done something for them and they paid, but the technician who was here at the shop, not here, didn't know all that went into it and charged them a minimal amount, not including other stuff that had to be done. And now that kind of gets a little bit weird, where it's like, okay, you were quoted $250. When you came in, they said $150. You should have been like, hey, they told me a little bit more. That's not you running with it. I'm not saying you're the person is the scammer. The person goes, okay, well, sure, no problem. I mean, like, because we've given people discounts before. We've worked on stuff that it's been expensive, and we fixed it and done it for cheaper. But I don't know. It's just the audacity of people being all like, oh, you didn't make anything, it didn't work. It's like, well, we do a key by code, and if it doesn't work, there's a process that we can do to make keys. It might be more expensive, but there's a process. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. It's not, when it comes to a vehicle, it should be easy, but it's not. Manufacturers don't really, they shake hands with dealers because there's contracts. But manufacturers and dealers don't make machines for cutting and programming keys for vehicles. They don't. There's no machine made by Ford that I know of anyway that is made to cut those keys. Some smart guy decided, hey, I've got this drill press lathe thing going on. I got a programming degree. Let me see if we can do something. I don't think, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to find a Mitsubishi key copier. Like a specific that says Mitsubishi on it or something. I mean, it's these companies are made by basically aftermarket companies making key cutters to cut keys that can be programmed by programmers that were not made by factory systems. It's like I said, Ford and Chevy and whatever are not making these programs, and then these programmers. It's other companies, locksmiths, big companies, big locksmith companies, big key companies that are telling the dealers, hey, we want to be able to do this, buy the rights to be able to make these keys. We're going to need some of the programming information. Here's access to the programming information. Here's access to PIN codes for a certain amount of money, and so on and so forth. So, anyway. But yeah, no, it's just this frustration. Just the people being all like, oh, y'all just taking shit on, you don't make it work. It's like, no, we will strive to make it work. But you did not pay, and you're giving me shit. We're going to give you shit. Sometimes we give a little shit back when somebody's done something like that. And we can be a little abrasive sometimes. But you know what? We'll still make you the key. We'll still take care of you. But anyway, that's just how I feel about it. I don't know. It's just frustrating. I'll put this up, but it's one of those things where it's like, man, it's aggravating. And I don't think everybody is trying to steal. Like, I don't think they came in here with thinking to themselves, man, I'm going to take them keys. That's not what they were thinking when they came in. I think it was a situation, but it was just that concept. You could see in his face that he was not here. He was not in the moment. He was on his phone and he was doing the next thing. You know, he's on, and you were keeping him from doing it. And he was like, man, this guy in here trying to keep me from, you know, it was not a focus into what was going on right there. And in the middle of what had happened. So, I don't know. But nobody wants to admit they're wrong. Nobody wants to admit they fucked up. So, but anyway. But yeah. I said in the end we didn't get paid, but they didn't get keys. So, what are you going to do? Anyway, I thought I'd share the conundrums and frustrations. As always, I'm Sir Drinks a Lot, and I'm wishing you health, wealth, and love with enough time and gusto to enjoy it all down to the last drop. I'm going to get me a drink here and go home.